Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Accel World Infinite Burst. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this movie goes on my hate list for two major reasons. The first is what they did in the beginning of this movie. So, the very beginning of this movie, this is an hour and 20-minute movie, around that, maybe a little more than that. The first 40 minutes of this movie are recap of the Accel World series, done through the narration of Yukihime, so it's supposed to be through her eyes, but essentially just tidbits of the show thrown into the screen, and it's like, oh, here's some of the original stuff. You've seen it before, but here it is again. I did not like they did that. I really did not like that. I mean, the movie is about an hour and 20 something minutes long, so it's you're still getting somewhat of a decent length of actual movie, I guess, per se. But I feel like I would have actually rather enjoyed an actual full movie of a new content rather than having 40 minutes of recap when the series is not that old. Like, the series is not 10 years old or 20 years old. It is maybe less than, what, like 3 years now at this point. So it's like, I'm pretty sure most people knew what happened and have been aware of what's been happening. Then, ironically enough, also, the second reason I hate this show so much, or this movie, excuse me, in this case, is the fact that what they did was they decided, hey, you know what? You've probably read the light novels during the time that the show has not been airing, right? Well, here we go. We're going to throw some stuff from the light novels in, some characters, some concepts, and if you haven't read those, then you're screwed. Now, in America, I believe we're at the eighth light novel, I believe, maybe the seventh one. I apologize if I'm incorrect with one of them. I know it's like the seventh or eighth one. I've read maybe 5 or 6 of them, I want to say. So I am not caught up fully with it, but I know that I'm past the Berserker armor stuff. Like, they just fought the guy who gives the Berserk armor, so it's a little bit past the sequence of events where he is meeting some new characters that are going to join Nega Nebulous in the story. I'm okay with that, but the thing is that in this movie, they are under the guise that you have caught up almost to a certain point, because there are characters that I know are from other light novels, the further advancement ones, that are thrown in here, and I do not like that. So first and foremost, I'll tell you guys and girls right now, if you do not want to be spoiled with certain characters, realistically, don't even watch the movie. But even more so, even if you did watch this movie and you were afraid of spoilers, you probably won't be spoiled on anything, because you won't know who the hell these people are. There are like 3 or 4 characters in here that you'll have like, who are these people? A few of them you've seen maybe quick tidbits of them in the actual show, the series. But for the most part, if you forgot their name or you forgot where they were allied with originally, or etc., that's completely understandable, because they were just very small roles. This movie was bad in that sense. So let's look at the worst stuff out of the way first. The story is utter trash for this movie. The concept, of course, beside the recap, is that all the burst linkers are kind of forced out of the game at one point because of a various incident that occurs in the story, where during the game sequence they're fighting in this giant battle, and all of a sudden, boom, they're thrown out of the world and then put into the real world again, and are unable to use burst link anymore, which is very interesting. And they're all kind of getting paranoid about it. They're thinking, what if we don't ever get to use the ability again? They're trying to figure out why they're not able to do it again, and through various means of unexplainable things, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, we found out where it is, why we can't do it, let's go. It's like, oh, hey, there it is, because of this person in here, we have to go fight that person now. Yeah, that's not good storytelling, folks. I'll say that right now. It's really not. It was not done very well in story. Animation-wise was probably the only thing I really enjoyed about this movie. The animation was spectacular. I think they did a very good job of kind of showing Accel World in a newer sense, because it has been like 3 years, and I was kind of scared, thinking that they might still use the original system for it, the original art style, but they kind of made things look nicer. They made the effects look nicer. The battles were really cool in that sense because of it too. So there was some enjoyment there, to be sure. And all the voice acting returns from the original series, so that's good too. Also, music was fine. I had no problems with the music. I really wasn't paying attention to the music too much, because that's how kind of Accel World is with the fights and stuff like that. You're paying attention more to those, but everything worked in that sense at least. But at the end of the day, when I finished this movie, what I felt was a mixture of hatred and why factor. Why did this even come out? Why did it come out the way it did? What was the purpose behind it? It felt like it was just thrown in there. So it's like, hey, you didn't forget about Accel World, did you? Because we want to make sure you didn't forget about it. Here it is. Don't worry, you didn't forget about it, right? We promise you didn't forget about it, right? But Yeah, it's not a good movie. I hate saying that because I loved Excel World the series, and I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about that already. But it was I always appreciate Reki's work. I think he does a really great job as an author. I've read a lot of his works outside of just, of course, Sword Art and stuff like that. I've read Excel World. I've read the Isolator series, which is really good. But this movie was not a reflection of, I think, his works. I feel like this is almost like a cash grab in terms of, like, let's just make a filler story movie thing and put characters in from the light novels, so that people will have incentive to watch the series now, I guess. I'm presuming that maybe the series will get to a point where they either go back in time and kind of focus on those characters that we didn't see, or they're gonna pull this light novel stuff. It's like, that's an issue. But that's why, if I had to rate this movie between an A through F, I have to give it a solid D plus. It's very barely passing. I hate to say that. I know some people might go, "Oh, that's really harsh," but I'm like, to me, I know animation is very important. I did enjoy the animation. I do like this show, and I think that most people will enjoy it to the point that maybe it's because it's just more Excel World. But if you look at this at a level of, what's good about it and what's bad about it, the bad is very, very high. The good is very low. Yeah, animation and, the original voice actors all returning, actresses, all returning, and the music being good is great. I'm glad that's there. But the story, the concept, the reason for this thing to be coming out in the first place, the whole thing about using 40-minute filler, and plus the fact that you have to be caught up with the light novels to really fully enjoy it, that is way more of a tower of bad than good. That's why I barely passed this thing. I mean, like, I would give it, maybe I was thinking originally of a C minus, but even then I'm thinking even more now. And I slept on this Guys and Girls, because usually if I reviewed it right when it came out, I would have been giving it a D, probably just a D minus. I would have been like, this barely passes. I'll give it a D plus. I'll say that it's close to the precipice of a C minus at least, but it ain't there. And Mal, I noticed, is not far away from our reflection of that. So I'm not I noticed a lot of people have a lot of hate for this. I mean, I've seen a lot of articles of people getting really pissed off for the fact that when they saw this in Japan, they spent 40 minutes of watching a recap, and I know people weren't too happy about that. But overall, though, folks, yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Sometimes movies do stuff like this, and I really didn't appreciate that much. Anyways, as always, if you guys enjoyed the review, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Have a happy New Year's, everyone, because that's coming up tomorrow. Let's see if we can get myself to like 700 subscribers. I'm very close. I'm very, very close. I would love to see that. I hate bursting myself going like, oh, let me get to 700 or this number or whatever, but I'm so close. It'd be a nice way to start the new year, so I'd be really appreciative if I can get to that high number. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great blessed day. Until our paths cross again next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.